Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Duffy. In 2020, my husband and I founded an organization called the Garden for All. I'm going to add here that the Garden for All, in its capacity as a nonprofit, neither supports nor opposes specific candidates, elected officials, or policies. I'm here to tell our story, and my remarks are my own. So I like to tell people that we accidentally started a nonprofit, but the truth is, like a lot of people, we were very distressed about the economic impacts at the start of the pandemic and the ways that it was having a negative effect on the community that we lived in. So that summer of 2020, we planted a couple of small garden rows. We tended them ourselves, and in our first year, we grew 750 pounds of produce, and we brought it to the 2 food pantries. Thank you. To the 2 food pantries that were closest to us geographically. 5 years later, the Garden for All has expanded. Was me, my husband, and a couple of our friends. Now we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have multiple staff, and we've now expanded onto growing over 3 acres of land. In 2024, we grew tens of thousands of organic produce. When we reach our full potential, we estimate that our production will be around the 125,000 pound range, and we also grow year-round because hunger does not stop in winter. And here's the thing, 100% of what we grow goes directly to food pantries in Central Ohio. Grin, New Albany Food Pantry, Broad Street Presbyterian Church Food Pantry, Marthaful, and on and on and on. 3 counties we serve. So why am I telling you fine people who have taken your Saturday afternoon to be here to rally for the future of our country? So as our food production operation at the Garden for All has grown and transformed, so has our budget. And here's where we're going to get into the acronyms, but I know you all can hang with me on this. So in 2023, the USDA had a program called the Local Food Purchase Assistance Program, LFPA. And what that program did was it allocated funds to farmers across the country to get fresh, healthy, nutritious foods into places where those things are hard to come by. So think schools, food pantries, direct feeding organizations, and so on. So an organization called the Ohio Association of Food Banks, OAF, received a portion of this LFPA money, and they created a program called Ohio Community Agriculture Network, Ohio CAN. Cute, right? So this was for farmers to be reimbursed for produce that they brought to food pantries. It's pretty simple. For most farmers in Ohio, this was their excess. So if I'm a farmer and I can't sell it at market, I take what I have left and I take it to a food pantry, and then I get reimbursed through Ohio CAN for that fund. It's a win-win, right? Farmers sell their produce, food pantries get food. Now for the Garden for All, we have no excess. 100% of what we grow goes to food pantries. So we were thrilled to be accepted as a participating farm in Ohio CAN. Being reimbursed for our produce through the CAN program helped us hire more growing staff, it helped us expand our growing operations, and it helped us grow and donate more produce to the pantries. In October 2024, we received the excellent news that the USDA had awarded an additional $500 million to extend the LFPA program through 2025 and beyond, including to Ohio CAN. So the Garden for All, along with all the other participating farmers, we created our 2025 budgets based on those projections, including the can revenue. That means all of our staff, all of the crops we've planted, all of the equipment that we've purchased. And you probably know where this is going. On March 7th of this year, the Ohio Association of Food Banks regrettably let us know that the USDA had backed out of its commitment for funding the local food assistance program. Yes, thank you. The Ohio CAN program will receive nothing, nor will its intended recipients, like the Garden for All, and all of the other farmers across Ohio who were planning on that money to make their operations go forward and who were going to take their excess produce to food pantries. I'm sure that you all know that farming is an incredibly lean operation. Any cut to funding, especially an unexpected one, limits our capacity to operate. Every dollar that our organization doesn't have is produce that we don't grow and food that doesn't go to food pantries. So now, as far as the Garden for All is concerned, either we revise downward our revenue projections and our food production goals, or, more difficult, we then have to try to raise the additional money that we lost just to get back to our baseline. And if you zoom out, and look at the large-scale human effects, the result is catastrophic. The farmers that we know, small-scale, local, organic farmers, are scrambling. Like I said, they made their budgets based on commitments that they had. Not only will they not be able to bring produce to food pantries, now they have to find ways to generate income for everything that they're growing. That means seeking out people who are willing and able to buy it just to pay their own bills. And imagine the effects on local food pantries. They can't purchase produce without help. I think about the empty shelves and the empty coolers at the pantries and the long lines of hungry people. And then you add to that a proposed $15 million cut to this state's budget in support of food pantries. You have a lot less food on pantry shelves and a lot more hungry Ohioans. This feels like a good time to tell you, of the 7 paid employees at the Garden for All, I am not one of them, and neither is my husband. Not one single penny have we ever taken from the organization. We pour ourselves into it on top of the other work that we do because we care about hunger and because we love our community. I'm not here because I have something to gain. The Garden for All exists to serve the people of Central Ohio, and we never thought, of all the things we'd be up against in our work, that the state and federal governments would become our adversaries, and hungry people and food pantries would suffer, rather than our elected officials being here to serve us, their taxpayers. We held on to hope that our elected officials would honor the commitments to the people that they represent, and that they would remember who they are in office to serve, and that they would bear in mind that our government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. The Garden for All will be okay. I know it. We are resilient, We are strong, we have a dedicated staff and dedicated volunteers, but more than that, I know it because we don't exist by permission of the government. Our call is much bigger than that. We will not stop our work until the Spirit tells us to, and now is not that time. So what can you do? So selfishly, I would ask you to visit our website, thegardenforall.org, like and share our social media pages. For small nonprofits, visibility is paramount. It makes a difference. We would love to hear a message of support from anyone who would like to send it. We would also love to have you out to volunteer with us. Beyond that, you can support local farmers who are on the right side of the food system and on the right side of sustainability. You can support your local food pantries who desperately need your help. And more importantly, you can keep telling the people who represent us that it is their job to care about farmers, people who are trying to make their communities better, and hungry people in Ohio and across the whole country, full stop. I am grateful for your time today. Thank you for being willing to hear the story of one small organization. Multiply that by thousands and you will get the scope of the problem. So thank you. I am inspired by your ongoing commitment to democracy and to being a force for good in our country. Thank you.